What is up, you guys? It's your boy Lucas Rio here from Team Cardfighters United, and I just wanted to show you guys what was in the Luard trial deck set 10 that came out later last year. I know it's really late, but the original video I had got completely corrupted, so I figured that I might as well do something for you guys, show you guys what was in it. I no longer have the box. I don't know where it disappeared to either, which is really weird. Probably one of my family members found it and threw it in the trash. Something weird like that, probably. But without further ado, let's get started.
Threes that I love so dear, bring the power of a new era to me!
So what I'm going to do first is tell you guys what all was in there. Of course, you had the main deck, which main unit is Luard. So I'll get to that after. I'll show you guys what all was in the main deck itself in a few, right after I tell you guys about this stuff. So of course, we had the cool new clan card that was in there. It's got Luard on the front with Shadow Paladin, which is amazing. We wanted one. We've been needing one for a long time. Well, we didn't necessarily need it, but you guys get what I mean, right? And then, of course, on the other side, the clan symbol. The beautiful, illustrious Shadow Paladin. My favorite clan! Alright, and then it came with this really interesting card here that had Kazuma and Chrono on one side, and then on the other, a lot of the main characters from the new G series. It's got Kazuma, Chrono, Shion, Tokoha, and I think his name was like Onimaru or something. I don't remember. If you guys know, leave a comment down below, because I don't remember his name at all. But yeah, this is really interesting, because I don't think this has been in any of the other trial decks. So, really interesting to see. I guess it's just a poster. I'm putting it on my wall. And then, of course, it comes with the first start guide with the rules and everything in it. Pretty self-explanatory. For all you newbies out there, it's like really, really huge and really, really long. Yeah. See? Check this out. And then, of course, the traditional playmat that came with it. Let me go ahead and open it up for you guys. Of course, it's your plain old playmat, but on the other side, it's got combos and things that you can do with the deck. Shows the ace card and everything. Your main grade 4 that's in the trial deck. Of course, there is a bunch of new stuff from set 9 that's there. That's also on this right here. Most of these cards are like super, super expensive. I know Drag Driver's sitting now at like $34 a piece. I'm crying on the inside because I need 3 copies of him. Of course, Morfessa's also sitting about $34 a piece. I just want a cheap Shadow Paladin card that's really, really, really good. Please, I just need it. Please help me. Why? Why Bushy Road? Why must you forsake the Shadow Paladin clan with all these expensive cards? It's not even Bushy Road's fault. It's you guys, the players. Stop making Shadow Paladin expensive. God! Why? Anyway. You got the perfect guard that returns itself, and you get another copy back in your hand. I think that she's sitting now at maybe a little bit under $20 a piece. Still pretty pissed, though, because I need that. I need, like, 4 copies of it. I only have 1. Please help. Please. Pretty please. But all these cards in here are in set 10. I did a box opening of that later last year. Go ahead and check that out if you want to see what I pulled. If I ever come to selling Shadow Paladin just to get a cheaper clan, I will be selling the few cards that I have from this set, because those are the only really, really expensive cards in the entire set. I want to cry, like, really badly. Anyway. yeah, that is, of course, the playmat. So, really interesting. Alright, now let's go ahead and get into the main deck, because this is where all of the really cool cards lie. The trial deck itself is not the greatest thing in the world, I warn you. It does desperately need support from either previous sets and or upcoming sets. I know there's a bunch of stuff in set 10 that are going to be really good, like Ogma. We will be doing a countercharged of set 10 once it's completely revealed. I'm not sure if it is. I'll have to double check. But go ahead and be on the lookout for a countercharged, because we'll be going over a lot of stuff in there. I know Ogma is right now the first ritual unit that's like really high. It's like ritual 5, while everything else that has rituals right now is ritual 3. So it's going to be a little bit harder to pull off early game, but late game, if you timed everything properly, you should pull them off with no problems at all. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into the deck profile itself. The starter that came in the set is Drag Prince Root. He is honestly not half bad. I'm considering keeping him in the deck, because they did just get a new starter, and it is not good at all. But Root's skill is Counterblast 1, Sends the Soul. When you retire him, due to the cost or effect of your rear guards, meaning that you can use Distress Dragon skill, and because when you retire stuff for Distress, it is part of the skill, not the cost itself. Therefore, it counts as the effect, so his skill can still be activated. But anyway, when he's retired and sent to the drop zone, you pay the cost and you do send it back to your soul and give something 5,000 power. So if you combo it with Distress, Distress will not only gain the 20,000 power for himself, he'll get an additional 5,000 power if you combo it properly. Or you can end up giving it to a rear guard. Well, then again, you may not have any rear guards on the field at that point. But still, he's good in combo cards. Just make sure you watch your counterblasts and everything. Of course, the deck ran rainbow triggers, which means that all 4 types of triggers were in here. Of course, 4 heals. Abyss Grail heal trigger. He's like, his art is like really, really awesome. Go ahead and check him out if you want. Of course, 4 of him. 4 crits, which is Dead Crash Dragon. His art is pretty cool. Not compared to Rabid Mew, who is literally terrifying. I'm honestly scared of the card, and it's just a card. And then 4 copies of Knight of Craving Brian. Stand trigger, of course. If you do end up running Sands of Shadow Paladin, definitely take him out and put the effect stands in there. The effect stands, they're cheap, and they're pretty good. I personally prefer Arcer, but there is a new one. I do not remember his name off the top of my head. It's just you have to watch out for his skill, because his skill, as I know, you have to place it on the rear guard from hand and then retire it due to a skill. So it's a low chance you'll get him in your hand in the first place, and if you call him with another skill, then he won't be able to get the skill, which is really dumb. Please. Anyway, it came with 2 copies of Drag Prince Mirach, which I was really surprised they only gave 2 copies of him. They normally end up giving 4 just of the same draw trigger. But they gave us instead 2 copies of a reprint Howl Owl, one of which is a triple rare version, which is like really, really shiny. Go ahead and check that. Look how shiny that is. I like that. But Howl Owl was originally a card in the Legend deck for Shadow Paladin for Diablo. So I'm really happy that they reprinted him, because his artwork looks really, really cool from what he used to look like. And it's like really cool. But his skill is when he's on the rearguard circle, you send him to the soul, give one of your units plus 3,000 power. Pretty generic, but still, he's not bad to have in your deck. Because even though Shadow Paladin used to deck out pretty quickly due to all the calling from the deck, but now you can run draw triggers and be perfectly fine, which I think is really cool. Okay, now onto the grade 1s. Recently, I'm not sure when it started, but Bushiroad started giving decks 4 perfect guards in their trial decks, which I think is like really, really cool, because perfect guards themselves are already, well, if you want generic perfect guards, they're pretty expensive, and then you got the G era perfect guards like countercharge. Those are even more expensive, and then you got the G perfect guards with skills on the bottoms of them, but that are regular perfect guards. Those are not as expensive. And then you've got the trial deck perfect guards that you used to have to buy 2 copies of the trial deck in order to get all 4 perfect guards without having to spend so much money. And now, I think they started in the Gear Chronicle trial deck, they started giving 4 perfect guards. And I'm really excited about that, because SRAS is almost $20 a piece. And I can run this one and not feel bad. But this is Demon World Castle for Bergen. Just a generic perfect guard. On place, drop a card. On place in the Guardian Circle, drop a card, stop the attack. We needed 4 of them. You always need 4 perfect guards. Always. You don't run less than that unless you're running a quintet wall. Which in Shadow Paladin, unless you're playing the Legion, why are you doing that? Why? Tell me. Anyway. Then is 4 copies of Drag Prince Knees. No, Drag Wizard Knees, my bad. Knees is, of course, a new card to Shadow Paladin with a ritual ability that when it's placed on the rearguard circle from the deck, he gets an additional 2,000 power. And then when he boosts, you can counterblast. When he boosts a rearguard, you can counterblast 1 and retire the rearguard. And you get to draw a card. So yeah, this is really nice. Still thinking about taking it out later on when set 10 is released, because we did just get a new countercharger, so that's cool. Here's Shadow Paladin. We do not have a generic countercharger except for the perfect guard, and of course Fear Spell, but Fear Spell is expensive, so we needed that. And next is, it came with 4 copies of Puzzled Owlner Clothru. Clothru's skill is really interesting, because when she's placed, if you're at Ritual, choose one of your rear guards, and it gets plus 3,000 power. So, it's really interesting to combo off of her, especially when you use Luard's skill, because you can call her out, and then give Luard an additional 3,000 power. Okay, next is another new card called Killer Mew. Killer Mew's skill is a little different from what we've seen before. His skill is when he boosts, the boosted unit can gain 4,000 power. But at the end of that battle, Killer Mew has to retire. So, if you're at G-Break and you're not at Ritual, you can use this card here and retire him, because his skill is not Ritual, and you'll be able to get Ritual really, really quickly and really, really easily. I don't know why people don't like him. I enjoy him sometimes. Sometimes he's pretty hard to deal with. Other times, not so much. And then on to grade 2s, it came with 4 copies of Direct Owlner Dehibira, my bad. Her skill is when she's placed, you drop a card from your hand, and if you have equal or less rearguards than your opponent, you get to draw a card. Yeah, that's about it. That's it. Not the best card in the deck, but still a good addition, because you can drop a grade 1 and draw a new card and go ahead and start activating ritual skills. Because if you have a grade 1 in your hand and you already have like 1 or 2 in your drop zone because you perfect guard and then dropped another one, pretty interesting to pull off. Next, as you see, it came with no vanilla grade 1s, which is really, really interesting for Bushiroad to do. What's also interesting, it only came with 2 copies of the vanilla grade 2. Demon World Castle and Gang. Just a generic vanilla grade 2. That's all there is to it. And also it came with 2 copies of Blade Proof Knife Younghall. He is the special intercept. He is a 10k intercept, making him a 15k total intercept. That's pretty much all he does. It only came with 2 copies of him. Normally they either come with 2 or 4, I think. And the last grade 2 is Drag Wizard Leophil. Leophil is one of the newer, better cards from the trial deck. His skill, you Soul Blast 1 and then choose your booster. No, choose a unit behind him, retire it, and you get to draw a card. So if you Soul Blast 1 and then you retire to grade 1, while you're at G-Break, you get Ritual 2 just like that. And then he also has a Ritual 3 skill that when he attacks, he becomes an 11k. That's about it. But still, his is not half bad, especially if you time him properly. And now we will move on to the grade 3s. Overall, though, the main deck itself is pretty decent. Alright. The first grade 3 is Crest Vicious Dragon. Crest Vicious Dragon is a Ritual 3 skill. When this unit attacks the Vanguard, if it was boosted, it gains an extra 3k. So he just becomes a 14k attacker on Vanguard or Rearguard. That's it. And it's at Ritual, so it's not even that good. Next is 2 copies of Bluethorn Heavy Slash and Voldemar. Voldemar's skill is okay for this, I guess. G-Break, when it attacks, he gets an extra 4k, so he becomes a 14k attacker. And then Ritual, you choose another Rearguard and retire it, he gets another 4k. That's about it. It's not that good. And then, last but not least, 2 copies of Dragheart Luard, one of which being triple rare. Dragheart Luard's skill is pretty interesting. His skill is Ritual 3. If you send 2 normal units from your drop zone back to your deck, you get to Stride for free, which is really, really good. Because you're not only getting cards back in your deck for just in case you deck out, but you're also striding for free, meaning you get to keep your hand in order to either guard better, or if you want to call the grade 3 for a bigger attack. And then his on stride skill is a Counterblast 1, retire 1 rearguard. This was the skill I was talking about comboing with Drag Prince Root. You get to when you stride, Counterblast 1, drop a card from your field. You get to superior call 2 grade 1s on top of that. So it's I guess similar to time leaping, except you get to call 2 units in the process of it. So the deck only came with 2 copies. If you want to build full Luard and need 4 copies, either buy another copy of the trial deck, or just try to pay, I think it's like $6 for 2 copies of Luard. And I'm talking common Luard, not triple rare Luard. Triple rare Luard's almost $10 a piece. Don't try it. Trust me. Don't try it. Alright, now that the grade 3s are finished, we can round off this video with the grade 4s. Now, with the grade 4s, in the trial deck, there was only 1 triple rare and 1 common. As I've told you, I no longer have the box for it. I've already opened it. I've done what I've needed to do. And I've even traded away a few things that I needed. Well, that were for this deck. So I ended up trading away the common version of the Stride to get 2 copies of the triple rare version. So right now I have 2 copies. Right now, the deck did come with 2 copies of Dark Dragon Carnivore Dragon. It's just one is common, the other is triple rare. I only have 2 of the triple rare. But his skill is During your main phase, you can retire one rear guard and force your opponent to either to retire two, and this is where it gets a little bit meticulous. If the opponent cannot retire two, if they only have one, they still have to retire one, but then two of your units in the front row, no, it's all three units in the front row, my bad. All three units in the front row gain additional 4,000 power. So if the opponent has no rear guards on the field and you activate the skill, your whole front row gains 4k. Or if your opponent only has one and you activate the skill, the opponent still has to retire that one rear guard, but then all your units get 4k. So his skill can be abused really, really quickly, and I love it so much. He's good in combo with a lot of stuff. And I honestly say if you're putting together a completed Luard deck, run him at a 2 of, because you never know when you're going to need to go into him and retire one of your opponent's rear guards and then gain power for it as well. All for the price of retiring one of yours. Well, that is actually it for the main deck. I really, really wish I could have shown you guys the box that it came in. The box is beautiful. I don't know where it is still. But this has been Lucas Rio here from Team Cardfighters United. And always remember, meta is completely disgusting.